Welcome back to the Nest Peeps. So you're interested in Warmachine, but you don't know where to start. Well, let's discuss that. Now, I still believe that the Battle Group box is the best first purchase for a new Warmachine and Hordes player. However, the Battle Group boxes are in low supply if you can even find them anywhere. And because of this, we are going to have to take a different route. Now, if you did purchase the Battle Group box, you can still do exactly what I'm going to describe. However, you're just going to have the caster that came in your Battle Group box. Now, you could buy another caster, but if you're going to buy another caster outside of the Battle Group box and other models, then there's really no point in buying the Battle Group box at all, except for the rules and stuff, which you can technically get for free online along with the cards for all the models. And how I believe new players should start is with Brawlmachine. Brawlmachine is a 25-point format where every model is FA1, aside from the models that are on the Epic list, because they are, quite frankly, just a little too powerful for a game at this low point cost. And that being the case, it lends itself to being very friendly towards new players. You don't have to worry about going out and buying 20 of the same thing. You can kind of get a feel for a little bit of everything that the faction you've chosen has to offer. One of the most daunting things for new players is the whole concept of list building, especially when you don't fully understand the game. You may have a faction that you're extremely interested in, but you don't really know what models are good, what's worth purchasing, and how to play them on the field. Well, one of the plus sides to Brawlmachine is over on the Brawlmachine webpage, they have a breakdown for every single faction with example lists for Brawlmachine. And the lists that they've designed for each faction and theme give you a very good feel for what that army is trying to do on the battlefield. And it kind of gives you an image of how that would perform at a larger scale. Here are the two lists that I have been playing in Brawlmachine. One of them is using Maylock and is the list that is on the Brawlmachine website, and the other list is a list with Caliban. Both of these lists are using the Blind Water theme because, well, currently I just love gators. First list we're going to be taking a look at is the Maylock list, and this is the exact list that is on the Line of Sight webpage. I will put a link to that in the description of this video. This list consists of Maylock the Dreadbound as our Warlock. Gatorman Soul Slave is going to be using up our requisition point. We have a Black-Eyed Wrestler, a Bone Swarm, a Bull Snapper, Gatorman Witch Doctor, Oilmaster and Spirit Cauldron, and a Gatorman Posse unit. What this Gatorman Zombie Horde is trying to do is win the attrition game. With Maylock's Field Marshal ability and Death Pact, everything in this army is undead and a little extra resilient. And due to everything being undead, you can really take advantage of the Witch Doctor's Death Ride. What you're trying to do is run up into your enemy's face, feet, survive the alpha, and then start chipping away at your opponent on the backswing. Next up is the Caliban list that I've been playing around with. This list consists of Caliban the Gravewalker. We use our requisition point for the Gatorman Soul Slave again. We have a Black-Eyed Wrestler, a Blind Walker, a Bull Snapper, a Gatorman Husk, we have Flugwug, and a unit of Croak Raiders. I'll be honest with you, when I was creating this list, I really just wanted to play with frogs. The way that I have been playing this list is very heavy assassination focused. The main two pieces in this list are Caliban and the Blind Walker. I'm really using the rest of the list to kind of put pressure on my opponent to put their caster in a vulnerable spot. This is a list that really wants to be played into an opponent that's fielding a lot of infantry. This is due to Caliban's feat, and I really only want to use the feat when I think I have a valid shot at an assassination attempt. What Caliban's feat does is every time a friendly faction model within his control range kills an enemy model, Caliban gets 1 fury and gets to cast 1 spell. my assassination attempt will be channeled through the Blind Walker in the event that the assassination fails and I have to play on the defensive. Once I have the Blind Walker in position and I'm ready to attempt my assassination, I will feat and then I will dump a bunch of Hex Blasts from Caliban into my assassination target, and then continue to take as much as I can off the battlefield with the rest of my army, fueling Caliban with more focus and magic spell casts to try and finish off that assassination. This list is a bit of a house of cards, but when you're able to pull it off, it feels fantastic. One of the main reasons that I really like Brawlmachine for new players is that it has a very low point of entry, but still gives you that Warmachine feel. And I'm a big proponent of low cost points of entry for new players. There's nothing that scares away a new player more than a very expensive cost of entry. After you've made that 25-point Brawlmachine list, my suggestion is, if you decide you want to grow your army, grow it up to a 35-point Steamroller list next. With this, your FA will no longer be restricted to 1, and it's going to open up some of those other models that were not available to you in Brawlmachine. This is going to open up that next door for you in your learning curve, because you're going to start seeing a little bit more powerful lists. But not only will you be seeing more powerful lists on your opponent's side, but you're going to be able to work the synergies of your chosen faction a little bit better because you have more points to play with. From there, you build up to 50 points next. At 50 points, you're going to start experiencing the larger scope of the game, and you're going to start having to learn how to keep track of multiple areas on the board. Whereas before, with 35 points, you had more options with list building, but you didn't really have a whole bunch to maintain and keep track of. At 50 points, this really starts to help teach you how to manage your army at scale. And then once you're comfortable with that 50-point list, you go up to the full 75-point list, and you start to experience Warmachine how it was designed to be played. At 75 points, you can really start to take advantage of your army's synergies. If you're going for an armor skew, soul mechanics, whatever your army does, it's going to do it its best at 75 points. And that's when you get to really fully experience your faction of choice. Now, this slow progression is what I suggest to any new player. It really helps parse out the purchases that you have to make and spreads them over a larger period of time so that it's not as damaging to your pocket. However, there are a lot of players out there that either have the money or just say F it, and then they buy the full 75-point list and go from there. Now, you can still progress through the Brawlmachine 25, the 35, the 50, the 75-point progression scale there, even if you do purchase all of your models all at once. The only thing that's going to be is you're going to have the selection of all of the models in your collection from the jump. Once you have your 75 points, that's really all you need to play a full Warmachine game. But none of us ever really stop at the 175-point list. From there, what you can do is you can start purchasing models as you want to try them out, or you can just go to a completely different theme within your faction and start building out your second list. If you're someone who is competitive minded and decides that they want to go to different events, this might be the best course of action for you. Complete your first 75-point list, and then after you have that ironed out and how you want it playing, you can start working on your second list, the pair. Or you can just say, I want to try a whole nother faction and do the same thing over again, kind of like I did with the Gators. That is the roadmap for new players that I give anyone who asks me the question, how do I start? But let me know your thoughts. How do you think new players should be getting into Warmachine and Hordes? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, consider checking out the Robbins Nest Studios Facebook group. There I post updates about the channel and photos of models that I didn't make videos for. And if you'd like to check out a gallery of the miniatures that I've painted in the past, go over to robbinsneststudios.net where you will find my mini painting gallery. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all that other social media stuff. For now, I've got to fly. As always, keep on painting, peeps.